Good morning. So, how did you get here today? All right. And now think about how you felt while you were commuting. Did you feel stressed, hurried, or did you feel free, safe, and part of making the world a better place? Today's commute for me was unusual, but I know too often on my regular commute, I don't feel freedom, even though that's what Americans were promised with the build-out of our existing transportation highway system. So imagine a transportation system that improves our air and water quality, makes us feel free, safe, and part of making the world a better place. It may feel impossible, perhaps just as impossible as we believed it would be to capture an image of a black hole, until we saw the image with our own eyes less than a month ago. The New Horizons project brought together ideas, research, and technology of numerous teams from different backgrounds and disciplines who all collaborated to reach an ambitious goal none could reach alone. Its success required the constant guidance of a leadership team that thought big and inspired everyone to stay focused on that one goal. We're not here today to talk about outer space. Our work is here on Earth. However, our transition away from dependence on fossil fuels for getting around also requires a team to set an inspired vision that engages others from different disciplines, industries, and perspectives to come together around one goal. It's important to remember that people with titles like those in this room brought us the policies that established our increasingly unworkable transportation system, built infrastructure that harms our wildlife and biodiversity, and encouraged suburban sprawl and white flight. They were government officials, business leaders, consumers, energy companies, developers, urban planners, construction industry, and investors. Now, it's our opportunity to learn from their past mistakes and build a green transportation system that works for all. Our work must be centered on three principles: courageous humility, inclusive coalition building, and seven-generation thinking. First, courageous humility. It's with courageous humility that we make room for the types of collaboration, innovation, and creative solutions that are needed for the task at hand. Courageous humility values contributions from outside the usual group of participants. You could say it means white men and us descendants of white settlers don't have all the answers. In other words, the monumental transition cannot happen without recentering expertise and leadership of our tribal communities, women, the transit-dependent, and our vulnerable communities into the foundation of the design of this new system. Second, inclusive coalition building. As was said, the oil industry is a formidable foe, as could be the Tim Eyman ballot initiative if it passes this November. Both threaten to undermine the legislature's progress this year toward our shared green transportation future. Thus, our coalition must be larger, stronger, and more inclusive than ever to face down those foes. We'll need to build on the strength of the Alliance for Jobs and Clean Energy, using the expertise of the people on the ground, and deepen and broaden alliances with even more sections of the population. This means enlisting people like auto shop owners and short and long-haul truck drivers as allies and stakeholders, rather than creating policies that push them out of our neighborhoods and city centers. It means bringing everyone to the table: disability and civil rights leaders, students and young people, local governments, engineers, the clean tech and cement industries, our tribal communities, historians, and so many more. We'll also need to meet people where they're at. We have to address the concerns of those who feel that they will lose their freedom and livelihood in the transition to clean fuels, by finding ways to meet them where they're at. In rural Washington, farmers must know their tractors fit into a clean energy future. In our urban Northwest, we must utilize the expertise of our transit advocates. Green transportation is not just an urban issue or a Western Washington issue. It has to work for everyone: Eastern Washington, Central Washington, the Vancouver-Portland area, and the entire Puget Sound region. Our current system was built without buy-in from all sections of the population and had unintended consequences, like disparate health impacts on communities of color and the reduction of salmon populations, now threatening the loss of our beloved orca. So the third is 7-generation thinking. This time, we must use 7-generation thinking. Looking back 7 generations, we learn from the past. And looking forward 7 generations, we must always work to anticipate the future effects of whatever we do today and adjust our plans to avoid as many unintended consequences as possible. So where to go from here on public policy? As it has been said, the legislature made significant progress with a bipartisan green transportation legislation sponsored by Jake Fye and spearheaded by Climate Solutions. It increased access to electric vehicle incentives, creating an EV car share program, a capital fund for public transit EV conversions, and improved incentives for commercial fleet conversions. The next green transportation package must create new revenue, mitigate and relieve the harm of the existing system has caused, like the salmon blocking culverts under our roads and the stormwater runoff that pollutes our Salish Sea. Climate resiliency must be incorporated by upcycling parts of the existing infrastructure and building a diversified, clean energy-fueled grid into the transportation system. Achieving our shared goal would mean real, integrated, and connected transportation choices that allow the PTA dad, the soccer mom, the farmer, the tech worker, the auto sellers, and the good producers to move freely and safely through our state in any way they choose, be it by foot, ferry, wheels, wings, or my daughter's preferred mode, horse. We've all worked hard to achieve incredible progress on the 100% clean vision. Now we're tasked with finding tangible strategies and resources for a revolution in transportation here in Washington. Just like those scientists who generated an image of a black hole, we will come together across disciplines, areas of expertise, and perspectives to produce something that to many is currently unimaginable. We are the ones who can already imagine a green transportation system, and we will lead, focus, and motivate the efforts to achieve it. There's a lot of hard work ahead, but I know we are up to the challenge. It's time to roll up our sleeves, or take your jackets off, and dig in to find solutions to ensure a safe, healthy climate for our children and the future generations. Thank you.